It's not often we see a generational talent ruined, but that is what the Bears are doing to Caleb Williams in 2024. Statistically, it's been decent, but when you watch the games and turn on the film, Caleb looks broken, and it's possibly irreparable moving into year 2. He's been sacked 67 times, just 9 away from the most ever in a season, and while the Bears' offensive line has struggled, a lot of it is on Caleb. He isn't seeing the field well pre or post snap, and he's been horrible throwing deep. How bad is it? Before we answer that question, I want to thank this season's sponsor, PrizePicks. PrizePicks is a daily fantasy sports site where you can play a player every day. Of course, they have football, college football, also basketball, hockey, soccer. If you can predict a stat, you can win big. To play, you choose 2 to 6 players and select whether they go more or less than their projection. This week, I'll take Jamar to smash the Steelers and put a stamp on his Triple Crown season, and also take Amon-Ra to light up the Vikings, and check the Green Goblin. PrizePicks does this to tease the number down a bit, which also lowers my payout a touch. PrizePicks has the fastest withdrawals of any daily fantasy app I've used. I load up the app, easy as hell, I'm done. They're also doing a deal where if you pop in my promo code Rollins, you put in just $5, they will give you $50 for free. That's promo code Rollins. To understand where Caleb struggles, we first have to understand where he excels. When he's on script and getting to his first or second read, he's very solid. The ball comes out on time, great velocity, decent accuracy, and there are a handful of these every game that gives you hope. The problem is, if he's not on rhythm and his first or second read isn't open, everything goes to hell. If he gets a surprise look right before the snap, he's going to answer with his feet instead of his arm. So pre-snap, he needs to make an adjustment and decipher the Bears line doesn't have enough bodies to block all of these defenders, so that if Jelani Tavai blitzes, he needs to throw hot to DJ Moore on the slant, even though it's tightly covered. And throwing to tightly covered receivers has been a problem all year, because he doesn't do it. Caleb needs to see his receiver open, so that means he isn't going to take risks if he doesn't see that separation, and he's not going to throw with anticipation because he's waiting to see his guy open, and both issues lead to a lot of sacks. Part of the problem, he struggles reading the leverage of the defender in the down, where he hits the top of his drop and has Keenan Allen ready to break away from Christian Gonzalez's inside leverage. Right here, Keenan isn't wide open, but in the NFL, you can't wait forever for your guys to get open. You need to anticipate, especially with this O-line, because you know where your guy's going, the defense doesn't. Or there was this example from earlier in the game, where here it's DJ Moore against Marcus Jones. Caleb is looking right at him, and with Jones inside of Moore, who is about to break out, Caleb needs to at least give his receivers a chance and anticipate open space, but unless he sees wide open separation, he's gonna hold the ball and get sacked. Another issue, which leads to sacks, is when he stays on one read for too long, waiting for him to come open, rather than being able to quickly identify he's not early in the down. This is a really strange man coverage look from the Seahawks, where Kobe Bryant has to come super far from depth to guard Cole Kmet. Caleb's first read is this deep curl from Rome Odunze, and he never comes off of it. At a certain point, you have to make up your mind and move on to the next read. But Caleb is waiting to see Odunze come open, makes him indecisive, and he almost takes another sack. It's just again and again and again that he holds the ball too long and goes down. He's staring down his receivers to see if they come open, and struggles to eliminate routes based off the coverage. The Seahawks have this exotic look with 3 deep safeties. This could be Tampa 2 zone, cover 3 zone, a crazy cover 1 look with the slot defenders, also known as apex defenders blitzing. The Hawks could be running anything. They do drop into cover 3 zone with 3 deep defenders, but instead of Caleb hitting DJ Moore coming free outside, he, takes a sack. He should know to hit Moore based on the safety rotations. They have this mirrored double seam, double comeback concept, and with the Seahawks running this 3 deep zone with the 2 safeties dropping into the seams, the moment Caleb sees this rotation, he should know to come off the seams, and since it's cover 3 zone, the cornerbacks will be busting their ass backwards to defend their deep third, so the comeback should be wide open, and it is. Reading coverages goes hand in hand with anticipating open receivers, and Caleb has struggled with both. What's made matters worse is he can't push the ball deep, so defenses don't have to guard as much of the field. Then when he doesn't throw to that first or second read, he can't throw deep, he is gonna take a sack. He's completed just 27% of his deep passes. That's good for 34th in the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus. So when he does throw deep, he really struggles, which has made him refrain from attacking down the field, and it's hurt this offense. Defenses know he's not going to go deep, so they can constrict the field and sell it on routes underneath. Watch Gonzalez and Jones sit down, worry-free that Caleb's going to beat him over the top. Until he can hit you over the head with a deep ball, defenses aren't going to worry about losing over the top. So this of course leads to higher sack numbers, because all Caleb can do is get to his underneath throws. The Bears receivers were constantly beating the Patriots over the top, and yet he doesn't pull the trigger. This is the shock concept, which we've talked about before, where we have a stick route, a curl route, and if we get one high man coverage, we're ignoring all of that to throw the fade route from the slot, because the safety can't get over the top fast enough. Keenan beats Marcus Jones off the line, he's behind him, but Caleb doesn't throw it, and look at Keenan's frustration. We can also see what happens when DJ Moore isn't targeted when he's got what appears to be a one-on-one matchup. It allows the robber safety to melt back into the middle of the field and drop into Caleb's blind spot. The Patriots knew Caleb simply would not go deep, so when they blitzed him, they could even further limit his answers against pressure. We're jumping back to a previous example, but on this play where Caleb needs to throw hot, Christian Gonzalez can cover Moore even tighter because he knows there's no threat of getting beat deep. Of course, there are other issues with this offense. It's far from just Caleb. At times, the offensive line just gets torched right off the bat. That's not because of the play call or coaching, but just one-on-one, the Bears linemen aren't talented enough to hold their own. There's also the issue of poor coordination of the offense. Obviously, this could just be a blown assignment, but mesh always has two crossing routes underneath that are designed to create a rub and an over-the-ball sit route, but there are two receivers right next to each other, never a good sign. There is no semblance of a rub. Caleb should at least get to his check down. He tries to run. It's the same thing over and over. It's been tough to see the lack of chemistry him and Rome Odunze have together. There are always adjustments that receivers are supposed to make in the down based on coverage, and that's why most rookie receivers can struggle to get going in their first year. Well, this is a dagger concept where Rome is supposed to run his route, but you can see him trying to find the right spot in zone to nestle in, which is technically correct, but because there's space in front of him, he should keep running, and you can see Caleb telling him to keep going across the middle. There are times where Caleb excels at everything, just enough on film to give you hope, but then the Bears start bearsing, one little thing goes wrong and ruins it. Here, Caleb thinks the Seahawks are blitzing and playing man coverage with a deep safety, and watch how the potential blitzer affects the leverage of the defense. If he blitzes, the defenders will play inside leverage, since there's nobody to funnel the receivers towards in the middle, so they might as well force a longer throw. And if he doesn't blitz, they have help in the middle, so they'll play outside leverage to force the receivers inside. Caleb thinks he is blitzing since he's on the line, so he starts to the side without breaking routes to defeat the Seahawks blitz coverage, but he realizes they didn't blitz, so his in-breaker should be open, and he makes a great throw to Odunze, who drops it. There are these glimmers of hope within a whole lot of surrounding darkness. The Bears season and Caleb's rookie year have gone about as bad as they possibly could have, and we're seeing what happens when a bad organization gets a generational talent. Caleb has taken 67 sacks. He's struggled to read coverages pre and post snap, can't read leverage, stares down his receivers too long, can't throw deep accurately, and has looked lost for a lot of the season. The worry is he hasn't put down any building blocks in 2024 that he can learn from in 2025 and on. Those glimmers of hope we touched on will need to become his standard of play, and if he can develop consistency down in and down out, that will be a huge step forward for his development. His rookie season isn't as bad as people say it is, but it has been brutal. The Bears are still in a great position with Caleb Williams at the helm, but if nothing changes, It's just that nothing will change.